In this video, I just added a function. I think this would be a good one to practice. So we are going to do these three functions. The first one is write a function that returns the sum of a range of numbers. That means if you give me a range between 20 and 30, I will give you the sum of 20 plus 21 plus 22 plus 23 until 30. Okay. So the sum, if you give me integers, the sum then is an int. And let me just call it total. So you give me a range, you need to tell me where to start, start number, and you also need to tell me where to end. So those are the starting point and ending points. Okay, I'm going to copy this and define this function. So we are adding every number in that range. We keep adding each successive number. That requires a loop. So since we are returning the result, let's declare a local variable and just call it result. You can call it sum. I'm going to use a for loop. Our starting point is what? We do not even need to start because we have a start here. So we just start from that start. Okay, or we can do this. We start from that point and it's less than or equal to end and increment by 1. So we add each number to result. Oh, not 1, but I, right? Okay, so if I is 20, we add 20 to it. You add 1 to I, now it will be 21. The next time we will add 21. Okay, so the last statement is always return result. That's this function. Okay, let's declare, we need two integers. So let's declare two int and ask the user to enter. Please enter two numbers as the beginning. I'm being very verbose here. As the beginning and ending of a number range. Okay, so cin, whatever the user enters. Okay, and then we can say the total is, we call the function total, and we use those two numbers as the actual parameter. Okay, let's run this function, run this program. Okay, if I want number between 1 and 100, that is the total. So that's how this function works. Now let's do the next function. The function is write a function that will return a value indicating whether it is a pass or fail, given a score. So I deliberately did not say return what type, because when you have only two values, pass or fail, that is a bool. You always remember when you have two scenarios only, it's always a bool because that's the safest one. So, and we can call it pass fail. And what do you need? You need to tell me your score, and then I will tell you if you passed or failed. That means if you passed. Let's change this function name. Just pass. Has passed. You know, that is a little bit better. Has passed. okay, or it's passing. So if it returns true, that means you passed. Otherwise, you failed. Let's define this function. Okay, and I will just declare a bool variable result. Okay, initialize it to false. Usually for a bool variable, you always initialize it to false. Okay, so if score is greater than or equal to 70, then result is true, right? Otherwise, or if it's not true, if that condition is not true, then it is false. We are not changing it. So now we have our result, and we can just return result. Some of you may think, do we need to say else result is false? You do not. If you do, that's still correct, but you do not because we are saying we initialized it to false already. If this condition is not true, this statement will not execute. So if it doesn't execute, your result remains false. So we can just return it. Of course, you can do this with one statement. Return score greater than or equal to 70. Okay, so with this one statement can replace the whole body because if this condition is true, it returns true. If it's false, it returns false. So that's how you can succinctly implement this function. Let's ask the user to enter a score. Just to make a meaningful name, I do not want to use N or M. What did you get? What's your score? NC in score. And then we can call this function, okay? But here, think about it. If I call it, it will print out true or false. It doesn't mean much. So what we do with a bool function, a function that returns a bool value, is usually use it in an if statement, in a condition, because a condition is true or false, right? So we can call this function in this condition has passed. And give me the score you just got. If that returns true, if this function returns true, this condition is true. And then we just say you passed. That's good, right? Okay. Else, we say you failed. I'm going to be very concise. I will not comfort this user. Just say you failed. Okay, that's it. That's how you call a function that returns a bool. Let's see. Okay, this is still the first function. Enter a number range. I will enter 3467. And what's your score? My score is I'm good. Okay, 98. You passed. The total is that. So that is how you call a bool function. And once again, if you simply let me close this. If you simply cout has passed, give it the score, it will not mean much because it will print out true or false. Let's call this. And that's why you usually use a bool function in an if statement. Okay, range 1 to 34, and my score is 56. and 0 is false, so it print out 0, and you failed. This is more meaningful because we use that in a function and we print out the meaningful output. The last function is very similar to function 6. Write a function that will return a value indicating whether a number is an odd number. It's odd. Okay, let me delete that. So this is similar. Once again, odd or not odd. Those are two values only. The only two values. So it should be a bool. Okay. And it is bool again. It's odd. Give me a number. I will tell you if it is odd. And collapse this. And this one, it's again, you can use bool. I'm declaring this local variable just so that you know whatever your return type is, your result will be of that type so that you remember that. Okay, bool result. And once again, I'm going to do that. Yeah, but remember, you can, okay, let's do the if statement. If number modulus 2 is 0, then it is not an odd number. If a number modulus 2 is 1, then it is an odd number. So result is true, right? And the same logic, else result is false, and we do not even need to write that. But let me just be verbose and write that, which is completely unnecessary. But you can also do it with this one statement, remember, number modulus 2. Okay, so number modulus 2, this is, no, we cannot do number modulus 2 because if it is 0, it will return true. So we have to do this. Okay, if number modulus 2 is 1, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false. Okay, let's call this function. And once again, you call this function using this syntax. Okay, I'm just going to copy that. So here we use is odd, and we can use score. And if it is true, then the number is odd. If it is false, the number is even. Okay, so that's how you can call that function using the if. Use it in the if statement. Okay, let's do this. This is the last function, last test, not test, but example. Okay, when I compile, I actually have an error. So it says, okay, I will do it again, and so that you can see. It says there were building errors. Would you like to continue and run? No, I don't want to do that. I need to debug. So click no. And here, if you look at this, this tells you in line 50, I have this is odd, must return a value. I preach that, but I did not return it. So return result, okay, because it has a return type here, you must return. Now it should work. Okay, number range 2 and 6. Let's use small numbers. My score is 78. So I passed, remember that's calling the function by itself, and this is calling in an if-else statement. The total is 20, that's something. The number is even, 78 is even, it's not odd. So that's this function here, right? Okay, we are done with all these three functions, and you can look at it again. I'm going to get out. Thank you.